Everyone, this is your instructor, Dr. Vaughn. I'm going to make a video here this week to help get you started in MathXL. And specifically about homework one, talk a little bit about the class. So this class, if you've taken Math for Elementary Teachers 1, this one is much more about probability and geometry. So we'll be doing a lot, but it's very visual. There's a lot of calculations of things involving triangles and similar triangles, but we start off with a unit on probability. And much of this homework one is going to be on probability. Now, I know many of you have been in MathXL before, but if you haven't, I just want to point out a few features. If you go up here under question help, there's a lot of things that you can do to help me solve this. We'll walk you through this iteration of the problem one step at a time. It'll ask you something and then ask you something else, then ask you something else, kind of walk you through to a solution to the problem. However, it doesn't really count as your attempt at that particular problem because when you're done, it'll give you a new version of the problem. And then you can use what you learned by doing to help me solve this in order to solve the version of the question that is then spawned after you've gone through all that. The view the example now will actually show you a completely worked out version, a different version of the problem. It doesn't kind of walk you through your version of it, but it shows another example of the same kind of problem, maybe with different numbers in it or a different order, and it shows you how to do that. There's also some video resources, links to specific pages and sections in your textbook. This is as close as you get to an e-text. It's not a full version of the text, I don't think, but it does actually take you back to certain passages from the text that can be useful to you as you're solving certain problems. And I wanted to point out this feature, Ask My Instructor. So especially for an online class, you can use this, click this button at any point of working on one of these problems. You can ask my instructor. What this will do is it'll send an email to me, and it'll show me what you've been working on, the problem statement that you have, your numbers that are plugged into it, and also how you did. So if the question is over, it'll show me what the correct answer was and what you answered, and then I can help kind of diagnose why you didn't get it right. Or if you haven't even finished the problem, I can respond and kind of help you move along on that particular question. I do know that this comes through email, and the email doesn't come right through to my cell phone, and I'm not always right in front of my computer 24 hours a day. So you do have to wait until I have time to get online and get to my computer, notice that you have a question, and then be able to respond to your question. All right, so I just want to point out some of the great features that are available to you in Pearson. Now we're going to just hop through a couple of questions as a sample, and mostly I just wanted to introduce myself and say hello and welcome to Math 151. All right, so here we're looking at the factors of 6 in the probability that the number that you spin is a factor of 6. We're going to assume that these are equally sized wedges, so it's equally likely that I get any one of the numbers that are on here. All right, so the factors of 6 are the numbers that divide evenly into 6. So 1 is a factor of 6, 2 is a factor of 6, 3 is a factor of 6, and 6 itself is a factor of 6. It divides into itself. So the factors of 6 are going to be 1, 2, 3, and 6. That's 4 out of the 8 wedges. They're all equally spaced, and so the probability would be 4 out of 8, which reduces to 1 out of 2. You can just write this as a simplified fraction. And it shows you whether you got the question, that part of the question right or not, and then it goes on to the next one. Okay, now we're going to do multiple of 6. There's only one multiple of 6 here, and that's the number 6 itself. So there's only one wedge, which is a multiple of 6 out of the 8 total wedges. So simple probability is the number of things that satisfy the criterion out of the total number of things under the assumption that those things are equally likely. And in this case, the wedges are equal area wedges. They would be equally likely to come up. All right, let's try another one. So here we have a marble, and it has a bag of marbles. It has 5 red marbles, 2 yellow marbles, and 4 green marbles. That's 5 plus 2, 7 plus 4 is 11 total marbles in the bag. And what's the probability that the marble is red? So there's 5 red marbles out of 11 total marbles. So the probability here would be 5 out of 11. And now the marble is not yellow. So there's 2 yellow ones. There's 5 and 4 that are not yellow. So there's 9 not yellow marbles out of the total of 11 that are in the bag. And let's see, the marble is either red or green. There's 5 red, there's 4 green. So red or green is a total of 9. 9 marbles are either red or green. They can't be both. And finally, the marble is neither red nor green. Now, if it's neither red nor green, it has to be yellow, and that's only 2 out of the 11 marbles in the bag. All right, let's try one more of these. Let's look at number 3. So Anne has 9 unmarked computer disks in a box, where each is dedicated to exactly one of English, Spanish, French, mathematics, biology, chemistry, SAT preparation, college applications, and American history. Okay, that probably doesn't matter, but let's see. We chooses a computer disk at random. What's the probability she chooses the English disk? So there's 1 English disk out of the 9 unmarked disks in the box. So the probability that she chooses the English one is 1 out of 9. What's the probability she chooses one that's neither English nor American history? So if it's not English, it's not American history. That takes 2 of them away. There's 7 left. And so the probability is 7 out of 9. And that was it for question 3. All right, so a lot of these probabilities are about thinking about what the total is and then thinking what the part is. You can use the thread that I opened up in the discussion forum if you run into difficulty on a homework and these kind of question help kind of things aren't really very useful, or if you spend too much time on it and you want to just start some conversation. Your posts in that thread count for your weekly participation, so you may as well use it to discuss problems on the homework. I really don't want you to discuss questions on the quiz. The questions on the quiz should be very, very, very similar to the ones that you see on the homework. So spend your time practicing with the homework. You can try it over and over and over again. The only difference with the quiz is it doesn't tell you immediately whether you got the questions right or wrong. You have to kind of finish the whole quiz, and then you press submit, and then it tells you what you got right and what you got wrong. All right, this is Dr. Vaughn, and I hope to talk to you again soon.